your intuitive field and your intuitive abilities pick up everything that you would call nothing. They pick up everything in the sensory field that your intellectual, emotional, that your eyes would say that would qualify as nothing. For your intuitive senses, there's no such thing as nothing happening. For your energetic senses, there's no such thing as an empty moment. There's no such thing. And this is what really is so significant. And I'm convinced about this, that one of the reasons we have an increase in madness, an increase in depression, an increase in all emotional disorders and psychological disorders is that we have our sensory systems, we have multiple senses. But we are still being told as we grow up and we develop in the world and we are educated as kids and through grade school and high school that we live in a 5-sensory world. When in fact, we live in a multi-sensory world. And not only do we live in a multi-sensory world, we now live in a world that is full of energy technology. So right there, we have a collision with the design of the universe that the kids are being told and we're being told that we live in. So our energetic senses have awakened. So we have a physical, we have a sight and sound and hearing and taste and smell. But those are survival senses. They're reptilian. We have advanced to emotional senses, creative senses, the capacity to sense what's in this space. So what we're developing are our kairos senses, our timeless senses, our sensing system that is not bound by these walls. Our capacity to sense interdimensionally. And that is really, really significant. It's not a gift. So I never even want to hear that word, and it's never coming out of your mouth. It is simply a matter of evolution. Okay? It's a matter of evolution. These senses that we have are awakening, they're developing. We've crossed a major Rubicon, and we've entered into the age of energy. This is, to use a comparison, this is our nuclear set of skills. We're in the nuclear age. This is our nuclear capacity as energetic beings. Okay? And the high end of it is mystical consciousness. They are the skills of the soul. These are the skills of the mind, the energetic skills. But the skills of the soul are major league. The mind cannot heal. The mind is incapable of the kind of subtle healing. The mind can go fishing for a past life. The mind can go fishing, can go on fishing datas. But it is incapable of the quality of healing that requires the grace and accompaniment of celestial forces for the full healing of the eternal elements in the soul. And that is a matter of sacred dialogue. And you cannot will that. There's no earthly exercise you can do that will release your soul from karma. For this, you need cosmic holy permission. This requires prayers. This requires you take your shoes off on sacred ground. Because there's no way in hell that you and your mind are able to comprehend things that may go back lifetimes and may involve lives not yet lived. So if you think you're able to comprehend that, you are mistaken, when 90% of the time you can't get over someone going to you. So don't put yourself in a category of being able to hold the cosmos in your little mind. You're not. You're not. When you can't even forgive a slight, a sound of a voice said to you, and you respond, don't you use that sound of voice. Sound of voice. You think you can handle the universe, and you can't take a sound of a voice. No, I don't think so. I do not. So this is the size of the journey of healing. This is its size. And in this world, we have opened up this multiple sense system. You are perceiving with all of these senses, but you do not recognize that. And because we do not recognize that, we don't attend to ourselves in the way we should be attended to. People do not pray. They don't protect their field. They don't treat and live in this world as if all is one. They do not acknowledge that all life breathes together, or that this journey is not about collecting and taking, but giving and sharing. And that those choices that we make are actually harmful to the immune system. To the immune system. That swirling in and removing ourselves from the whole, deciding I have to live, that there's people out there and there's me here, is actually an attack on the immune system. Because the immune system is the sense of your moat around your castle. We've made this world increasingly unsafe because we have this idea that the world should spin around us. How could this happen to me? Justice should be all about me. God owes me an explanation. We don't get the way the universe is structured. It's about laws. It's about laws. And our job is to figure out the rules and live by the rules. Not change them and decide that the rules aren't the way they are because we don't like them. Get it? It's as simple as that. So, that said, we've got a few minutes. I would love you to, yes.
I have a question about...
All right, where's my mic runner? Where's my mic runner? I got no, I've got, all right, on it, get up here. You got to move fast. I don't take delays. Move fast. Come on. No. Don't look at me. I don't have a mic.
I had a question in regards to intuition versus imagination as storytellers, and when can you start to know whether you're just telling yourself a really good, fascinating story?
When you're the star.
Huh? Whenever you're the star. Or what happens if it feeds into like different archetypes, like the saboteur, the victim?
Well, I mean, intuition is, there's all kinds of different intuitive hits. okay? And intuition, put it into an archetype, is you get an intuitive hit. Intuition is about your survival. It's about transforming you. And it's about awakening you. Okay? It's not about like saving you from losing money. And it's not about saving you from being humiliated. And that's one of the keys. It's not about saving you from being humiliated. And it's about you, it's about saving you, like alerting you for safety. For safety reasons. It's about alerting you all about your own safety. And I think everybody knows when they're making things up. It's not difficult, do you think?
No, I'm really good at it.
So there you go. Why'd you ask? Why did you ask?
Well, because the intuition, then I wonder, is this just, am I
But
fabricating
you
a
already
story,
know
or
that.
is this something?
You know when you're fantasizing. So why'd you ask?
Because when do you know when it's intuition, it's something real or it's something?
But you know. But you already know. So why did you ask?
Because I don't think I know.
Yes, you do.
I don't know. I think
Yes, you
that
do.
time can tell.
Then
and then
ask
you're
on
like,
it. Then act on it and see what happens.
that's.
Act on it. You're going to find one of the ways you learn is follow your gut instinct. Follow it. One way or another. And one of the best teachers of gut instinct is experience. Like, oops. And yeah. And the thing about intuition is never think that it has no guarantees and safety, because this is what you've got to understand. It's a minute by minute thing. Second by second. And here's something else. Just because you're following your gut does not mean you're not going to get hurt. It doesn't mean you won't fall. It doesn't mean anything. There is no reward and protection system in heaven. Stop it. You're not children, and it isn't an off-planet God, and don't look for rewards. You get ice thrown in your face if you think that way. Stop it. Stop it. You follow your gut instinct, and you're still going to have car accidents, and you're still going to this or that. It's just that it could have saved you from driving off a bridge. You don't know that. But you are not saved from all the many crises on this planet. So stop it. You know, I'll share, I read this book, and it really explained what grace was to me and the way the non-physical world works in such a perfect way. And that's that human beings always look for rewards. Somehow they think that if they suffered or made it through a difficult thing, that's proof there must be something special God has in mind for them. I had a very good friend, someone I'm so close to. She's such a wonderful person. She had an accident. And she had all this surgery to repair. And she said, God must have something special for me. I said, a good dentist. You got wonderful dental care. Why do you think it's got to be something professional and accomplished and this or that? Why are you loading the deck like this? Why are you doing this? Your life was saved. Isn't that special enough? What's wrong with you? Why do you think you deserve a reward and attention and all of this? Because you made it through this. That this is an indication the rest of your life is going to be so spectacular. You may have 4 days to go. Stop it. Stop it. And I read this is probably not the best time to tell this story, but I read this wonderful book. I was reading a book on the Jesuits. I hesitate to tell too much on priests, but anyway. But I love this book. And in it, James Martin was writing about another priest whose name was Walter Walter, oh my God, I'm blanking on his last name, but something like well, I'll remember it. Anyway, Walter, I was fascinated by his life because he was born, oddly enough, in the East Coast, dare I say, Pennsylvania, and in 1906, and he ended up in a Russian gulag. God, what crazy elements to his story. And he was during World War II, and he was released thanks to the intervention of John F. Kennedy in 1964, I believe. There was 62, obviously, not 64, 62. Anyway, I thought, what a crazy story. How did this priest end up in a gulag and all this? And he ended up writing his biography called With God in Russia. And there in the middle of the night, I downloaded it in my Kindle. It's in my Kindle, it's right in there. In fact, I'll get his name before. Anyway, so I read the book all night. And I was just gripped by the story of how this man ended up in the Vatican's program to educate Jesuits as Russian spies and get them into Russia in the 1930s. And what happened was he made it to the Vatican, but Europe was becoming so volatile in the 30s that they decided to not send him into Russia, and they planned to send these Jesuits in under the guise of being Russian peasants, having taught them perfect Russian, and he was a great candidate because he grew up in a home like I did, where in my home, my parents and all my elders grew up speaking Polish and German because of my grandparents. So, because they grew up with people whose language, their first languages were European, they didn't have accents with it, like, if you grew up in a bilingual home. So he spoke Polish and he learned Russian perfectly. So he said, as long as I'm in Europe, let me at least work in Poland. So he was sent to Poland, and it happened to be the eastern half, and then Russia invaded, so he ended up in Russia anyway. So it's like he ends up in a gulag because the Russians found him. Anyway, so the years, on the train going there, I mean, there's all kinds of stories, but this is the one that stuck out. The Russian gulags under Stalin were brutal, ugly, brutal, horrible, beyond. And so there was an uprising, and the guards were given orders to just go in and kill, destroy, just, wipe them out. Didn't matter. They were inhumane beyond. And they came in, and he had his gun. The Russians had their guns with the butt end of them, and they were just hitting these guards. I mean, hitting these prisoners. And Walter was pushed so that he got hit, but he got hit in a place that did the least amount of damage. So instead of getting his jaw broken, which couldn't be repaired there, getting his head cracked open, he got hit in his back, no broken bones, and got pushed to the corner. Now, I read that, and somehow in the moment of reading that at 3:45 in the morning, in the silence, I felt this sense of, and I got deep in my soul's DNA that in our lives, we are on these tracks and in these passages that no matter how we pray, we can't get out of. So much we were like, maybe we want to get out of our bodies because they hurt too much. Maybe we want to get out of the fact that we've been commissioned by God to be the caretaker for someone. Maybe for someone for a month, maybe for a year, maybe 10 years. But it's a commission because we can't get out. Maybe we are bonded to someone we love. And it's difficult, very difficult, because we are commissioned to love them more and in a way that's deeper than they are capable of loving us. And it is a wretched form of love. To be commissioned through the bond in your soul to love someone more or in a way that is deeper than they are capable of loving you. And through some mystery, you are incapable of leaving them. And your job is to recognize, I have a commission. That is why you can't leave. And in the anguish is released when you get that this is a commission, a contract. I can't get out of this. And it's not about can't. It's about, I accept this, and now I will get to the right prayers. To the right prayers. Not to praying to have something released. All right, give me the prayers I need to get through this. But I saw that grace and the hand of heaven cannot reach into a Russian gulag and say, okay, you've prayed enough, I'll take you out. But to say, you know what, it's going to be a rough night. I will position you. You're going to get hit because everybody's going to get hit. But I'll make sure that you don't suffer very much. I can't take you out of this hell. You need to be here. I can't explain why, but I will make sure your suffering's as minimal as I can. As minimal. So that your heart can still hold everybody else. Because that's what you've chosen to do. Is to hold everybody's absence of faith in your heart. And to keep their humanity going. And that's what he did. And when the time was right, John F. Kennedy got him out. Because they found out about a Jesuit in captivity. He became a saint. And he had so much left still to give. Of all people who could be bitter. But he carried all this, and they want him for one of their Russian saints. There's no end to that kind of light. But that, I thought, so that's how grace works. So you say, if this is the path I need to be on, then I'm not going to pray to be taken off. And that's how you stop and you freeze frame in the moment and you say, okay, I'm stopping in this moment. I'm going to look around. Show me where you're standing in this moment. Show me where you are in this moment. Fill my heart with the power of this moment, because that's where I need you right now. Fill me up and I'll keep going. I just need a blast of you right now. That's how you pray. Got it? That's how a mystic prays. That's how you don't lose power, because you don't tell yourself a story like, something's wrong here. Nothing's wrong here. And you don't tell yourself those nonsense like, I was born for something special. You were born for the life you have. Stop it. Stop it. This is something special. Find your special in the moment. You hit that button and you think, what can I do to make this moment special? To specialize it. To special up. I got time for one more question, because then I'm going to start a whole new section. Yes. Yeah. What's your name?
My name is Laurie.
Hi, Laurie.
Hi. Nice to meet you. There's so much power in that, this epidemic, this disease of disempowerment and fear, and being able to stand in the moment and receive the prayer that you need in that moment is, I think, the antidote to getting empowered again, and the way to joy, and the way to this evolution we're being called to rise up to and
It
be
is.
a part of.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Honestly, and you know what you realize is, what I realized is every floor you go up in yourself brings you more what it is the journey inside looking out than outside looking in. On the first floor, life is all about, how do they see me? How is everyone looking at me? How big is this world and its capacity to crush me? That's what Buddha says is an illusion. As you go up your inner floors, you get to the point, you get to the perception that says, my world is how I see it, and what I'm capable of noticing and appreciating. And the first day you see the light, the sunset, and the sunrise in that peak, and you realize, woo! And then you know that if you go a little higher, wow. And then all you want to see is the sun. And the rest, and you think, I gotta get a full view. I gotta get that full view. I gotta get the full view, because nothing will ever be the same. I'm going to leave before we go to lunch with this. I wondered about miracles until I realized there weren't any. What there are experiences of this capacity of what you're capable of sustaining, what you're capable. If you look at the spiritual path of any interior journey, all profound inner paths are about teaching you to have stamina, inner discipline, and devotion. This is the essence of self-esteem, and to trust yourself. Not just about intuitions like baby, but trust your inner self. To not give your soul away. To not compromise yourself, the beginning of which is taking on the victim, the saboteur, the child, these early prostitutes. That as you learn to be in the world and not take that on, little by little, you're able to manage the power of your soul and not compromise it again and again for security or safety. So you don't compromise even in the slightest way by if I was your angel saying, this is your moment, we're giving you a great creative idea, this is your moment, and you hold back because you don't want to upset someone, because you're afraid of getting rejected, because you tell yourself, and we're intuitively saying, now. But you are so afraid of being humiliated, you tell yourself, no, who cares? Jump. When I tell you to jump, I mean jump. But you don't, okay? What a miracle is about you experience something that nobody else experiences. You have to have a soul capable of sustaining that experience. when everybody else tells you it's impossible that that could happen. It is something that happens in a second that takes your reality from one way to another, just like that. And most people can't have their lives change that fast. Secondly, most people have to have someone else validate a profound, powerful experience. They simply can't. They simply can't have their life. They need other people to say, "Wow, that happened to you." When in fact, you can't really tell anybody. And if they don't get validation, how can you not support me? Which only makes you bitter. So you are not strong enough to have that kind of experience. And the inner life is all about you becoming strong enough to have any kind of experience.